Chosen one, I need you to lock your focus right here. This moment right now is not like any other you've experienced. In the next few minutes, you're going to receive a revelation that will change the course of your life. This is the moment you've been waiting for, the moment when the silence ends and everything you felt but couldn't quite understand begins to make sense. You've sensed it, haven't you? That strange pressure in the air. For the last 72 hours, something has felt different. Maybe you've noticed it in the way the atmosphere around you has seemed thicker, as though it's filled with anticipation, like the world is holding its breath, waiting for something massive to unfold. It's almost as if the very air you breathe is charged with energy. And now, here's the truth you've been feeling but couldn't fully grasp. Something is about to change, and it starts with you. For months, God has been preparing you for this exact moment. You may not have understood it at the time, but He placed you in a spiritual protection program. It wasn't because you were forgotten or left behind. No, it was because your destiny was too precious to be exposed before its time. God hid you. He hid your location in the spiritual realm and silenced the voices of heaven so the enemy couldn't trace your movements. This wasn't a punishment. This wasn't abandonment. It was divine protection. God had to keep you under the radar, away from those who were hunting your spirit, your calling, and your potential. He placed you in a kind of spiritual witness protection program to ensure that when the time came, you would be ready to emerge stronger and more powerful than you ever imagined. But here's the turning point. The silence is over now. The protective shield that God placed around you, the one that kept you hidden for a time, has lifted. The file on God's desk marked top secret has now been stamped active. Your destiny, which has been quietly unfolding behind the scenes, is now being revealed to you. This is not just a random moment. This is the moment when everything begins to align. It's the moment when what you've been feeling inside starts to match what God has been doing for you on a grand scale. The file has been opened, the coordinates have been revealed, and it's time for you to step into the fullness of your purpose. You might be wondering, why now? The truth is, the enemy has already seen the status change. He knew before you did that something was shifting in the spiritual realm. The increase in attacks you've felt over the past few days, the heaviness in your chest, the urgency in your spirit, has all been part of this awakening. The enemy knows your breakthrough is coming, and he's doing everything in his power to distract you, to confuse you, to make you feel like you're still in the dark. But this is where the enemy is wrong. You are not in the dark. You've been hidden for a purpose, and now it's time to step into the light. This shift is not a coincidence. You didn't just happen to feel off in the last 72 hours. No, this is the beginning of a divine movement, one that has been orchestrated from the very beginning of time. You've been prepared for this moment. Your past struggles, your heartaches, your loneliness, all of it has been part of God's plan to make you stronger, wiser, and more equipped to handle what's about to come. The world may not have seen it, but God has always known. He knew you were ready long before you realized it. And now it's time for you to see the fruit of that hidden season. So I urge you to stay with me. Keep your focus here, because this is the moment you've been waiting for. The silence ends today, and what comes next will transform everything you thought you knew about yourself, your destiny, and your purpose in this world. The time to act is now. The wait is over. The file is open. You've been hidden for a reason, chosen one. The secret file on God's desk, the one that has been marked top secret for so long, has just been activated. This is not just a moment in time. It's the culmination of everything that's been set into motion behind the scenes. For months, you've felt the weight of something heavy in your spirit. You felt like something was about to shift, but you couldn't see it yet. You felt the silence surrounding you, and you've wondered why everything seemed delayed. Why has it felt like you were being held back, like you were just waiting for something to happen, but it never came? Well, now it's here. Your spiritual hiding has come to an end. The file that contains the blueprint of your destiny has been opened, and what was once concealed is now being revealed. The time for your waiting is over. This is the moment when your purpose is about to be unlocked. God has been preparing you in ways you didn't fully understand. Every trial, every struggle, every moment of loneliness was a part of the preparation, a part of the divine strategy that was being orchestrated in the background. It wasn't time yet. The pieces had to fall into place. But now the season of hiding is over. The coordinates have been set, and God is ready to reveal the next step in your journey. The reason you've been feeling so much pressure recently, the reason your spirit has been on high alert, is because the moment of revelation is here. But you must understand, this is not just about the activation of your destiny. This is about the spiritual battle that has been raging in the unseen realms. The enemy knows that your time is coming, and he saw the file's status change before you did. He sensed the shift in the atmosphere, and he is fully aware of what it means. The enemy knows that the moment you step into your full purpose, the ground he's been standing on will start to shake. He knows that when you walk into your calling, things will begin to change, not just in your life, but in the lives of those around you. The enemy is not afraid of your prayers or your church attendance. He is afraid of your identity. He is afraid of the power that lies dormant inside of you, waiting for the moment when it is finally unlocked. That's why he's been fighting you so hard. That's why the attacks have escalated, why the doubts have intensified, and why you felt like you're being pushed to the edge. The enemy doesn't want you to recognize who you are, because once you do, he knows his grip on your life will be broken. He has been trying to keep you from seeing your true potential. He has been trying to keep you from stepping into the fullness of what God has prepared for you. But hear me now, the enemy's time is over. He can't stop what's coming. No matter how hard he tries, no matter how many attacks he sends your way, he cannot stop the divine plan that is unfolding in your life right now. You've been hidden for a reason. You've been protected for a reason. And now the enemy is going to watch you rise because there's nothing he can do to prevent it. So now, chosen one, it's time for you to stay tuned in. Don't back out now. Don't turn away. You are on the precipice of something incredible, something that will transform your life in ways you can't yet imagine. There are critical details about your future that are about to be revealed, and you need to be ready to receive them. This is your confirmation. The waiting has been hard, I know. The silence has been deafening. But you've made it to the other side. And what comes next is the breakthrough you've been praying for. Stay with me, because what I'm about to share will clarify everything you've been experiencing. The attacks, the doubts, the loneliness. It was all part of the process. But now the season has changed. The battle is over, and you are about to step into the victory that God has already secured for you. You were never forgotten. You were never abandoned. You were simply being hidden for a time until the right moment arrived. And that moment is now as you prepare to move forward. Know this. This isn't just about your destiny. It's about the lives that will be impacted by your obedience. This isn't just about your purpose. It's about the kingdom of God advancing through your life. You are a vessel of divine purpose, and the moment you step into what God has been preparing you for, you will begin to see the ripple effects of your obedience. The enemy will try to tell you that you're not ready, that you're not qualified, but that is a lie. You are more than ready. God has been equipping you for this moment. He has been shaping you in the hidden places so that when you step into the light, you will be exactly who you were always meant to be. So, chosen one, hold tight. You are entering into a new season. The file is active. The waiting is over. The battle has been won. The enemy may have tried to keep you from seeing it, but now it's time for you to see it clearly. Your destiny is about to be activated in ways that will blow your mind. Don't look back. Stay focused on the prize. What's coming next is going to change everything. For the past 5 years, chosen one, you felt invisible. It's been as though you've been walking through life, but no one truly saw you. You've put in the work, the prayers, the effort. Yet it felt like your achievements were unnoticed, your growth unrecognized. You've asked, why does it seem like I'm in the background while everyone else moves forward? That silence, that feeling of being overlooked, was not a punishment. It was part of God's divine plan to protect and prepare you. It's been hard, I know. The loneliness, the quiet, the sense of being forgotten. It's been excruciating at times. You've prayed and felt like your words hit the ceiling and fell back to you unanswered. You've watched others around you seemingly receive blessings, promotions, and recognition, while you remained stuck in place. It's easy to wonder if God has overlooked you, or if He's forgotten the promises He made to you. But let me tell you this, with certainty, the silence you've endured was not abandonment. It was not rejection. It was the quiet before the storm of breakthrough. The enemy wanted you to feel invisible, to feel like you didn't matter. He whispered lies into your spirit, telling you that you weren't good enough, that you weren't qualified, that you had missed your chance. He told you that others were more worthy of the blessings you were praying for. He told you that you were disqualified, that your mistakes had disqualified you, that your past failures had rendered you unfit for the purpose you've always felt deep inside. Those lies were never true. You were not rejected, and you were not forgotten. You were hidden. There is a big difference. And understanding this difference is the key to unlocking the power of this season. The enemy's strategy has always been to make you question God's promises, to make you doubt your worth, to make you feel like you're on the outside looking in. But hear me now. God has been working behind the scenes this entire time, preparing you for what's next. The silence wasn't because God didn't care. It was because He was protecting you. You see, there are seasons in life where the best thing you can do is be hidden, where the best thing you can do is be in the background, away from the enemy's prying eyes, away from the distractions, away from the noise. It's in these hidden seasons that God does some of His most powerful work in our lives. He refines us, shapes us, strengthens us, and builds us up in ways that we can't see at the time, but that will be revealed when the time is right. The waiting, the silence was all part of God's divine preparation process. This is where the enemy's lies fall apart. He thought that by keeping you in silence, he could convince you that you were overlooked. He thought that by keeping you hidden, he could keep you from your destiny. But what the enemy didn't know, and what he still doesn't understand, is that God's silence was never about abandonment. It was about protection. It was about positioning. Just like a master craftsman keeps his finest work under wraps until it's time to reveal it, God has kept you hidden not because He doesn't want to use you, but because He's waiting for the perfect moment to unleash you into your full potential. He's been shaping you in the secret places, strengthening your character, fortifying your faith, and preparing you for the battle ahead. This is where the biblical metaphor comes into play, a metaphor that speaks directly to your current season. In Isaiah 49:2, the prophet says, "He made my mouth like a sharpened sword. In the shadow of His hand, He hid me. He made me into a polished arrow and concealed me in His quiver." Do you see that God has made you into a polished arrow, but He hasn't released you yet? He's kept you hidden in His quiver, just like a warrior keeps his finest weapon close until the moment of battle. The arrow is not hidden because it's useless. It's hidden because it's precious. It's kept safe until it's time to be launched into the battle with the full force of its power. God wasn't keeping you in the shadows because He didn't want to use you. He was protecting you for the right time, the time when your full power would be unleashed. And just like the sword that's sharpened through grinding and pressure, you have been through your own grinding process. It wasn't easy, was it? It was painful. The trials, the struggles, the feeling of being overlooked, it all felt like grinding, didn't it? But that grinding was what sharpened you. It's what made you strong. It's what made you ready for the moment when God would release you from the quiver and send you to your target. The trials were not a punishment. They were the preparation for something greater. You've been through the grinding, and now you are sharp, ready, and positioned for what God has in store for you. So Chosen One, let go of the lies. Let go of the enemy's whispers that told you you weren't enough, that you were invisible, that you had been forgotten. You were never rejected. You were simply hidden in the shadow of God's hand, being prepared for something far greater than you can imagine. The moment of your release is here. The time for your destiny to unfold is now. And the best part, you are more than ready. God has been preparing you for this moment. You are no longer invisible. You are no longer in hiding. The polished arrow in the quiver is about to be launched. And when you are released, nothing and no one will be able to stop you. It's time to step into your divine purpose, knowing that every moment of silence, every moment of hiding, was all part of God's perfect plan. And the battle you are facing, Chosen One, is not just a spiritual one, it's biological too. The enemy has been targeting your very essence, your connection to God, through your mind and spirit. While the attacks you've faced have seemed external, the true war has always been internal. The real target of the enemy is not your body, not your circumstances, but your neural signature. Your neural signature is the unique frequency your brain emits when you are fully connected to God, operating at your highest spiritual potential. It's a frequency that holds power, a power that the enemy fears more than anything. When you are in alignment with God's will, your mind emits a frequency that allows you to access divine wisdom, divine peace, and divine creativity. Your mind becomes a conduit for the supernatural, a gateway through which heaven flows into earth. This frequency, when unlocked, gives you the ability to manifest God's will in your life with unmatched clarity and precision. And the enemy knows this. He knows that when you are tuned into the frequency of God, you have access to the full power of the kingdom of heaven. That's why he's been fighting so hard to keep you from reaching it. His fear is not just about you living a successful life. His fear is that when you step into your full potential, you will become an unstoppable force for God's purpose. So he's been working tirelessly to keep you in a lower frequency, to keep you disconnected from the divine power that is waiting for you to tap into. But here's the truth, that power is already in you. It's been in you all along, and now you are about to access it. To understand how the enemy has been manipulating you, it's crucial to understand the two frequencies that exist within your mind, the beta frequency and the theta frequency. Most people live in a constant state of beta, the frequency of stress, anxiety, and survival mode. Beta waves are the brain waves that fire when we are in fight or flight mode, when we are overwhelmed by life's challenges, when we are focused on survival, or when we are consumed by worry and fear. It's the frequency of the world, the frequency that the enemy wants you to stay in. When you are in beta, your mind is scattered, your focus is divided, and you are easily distracted. You may feel like you're constantly rushing, constantly trying to keep up, constantly battling the demands of life. In this state, you are disconnected from your higher self, and the flow of divine guidance is disrupted. The enemy knows this, which is why he works so hard to keep you locked in beta. He knows that as long as you remain in this state, you cannot access the full power of God's Spirit. You cannot manifest heaven on earth. You cannot hear God's voice as clearly as you need to. You are spiritually limited. This is why the enemy bombards you with distractions, fears, and stresses. He's trying to keep you locked in beta, where you are powerless, disconnected, and vulnerable. But there is another frequency, a frequency where the miraculous happens, where your connection to God is at its strongest, and where divine peace flows through you like a river. That frequency is theta. Theta waves are the brain waves that fire when you are deeply relaxed in a meditative state, or when you are fully aligned with God. Theta is the frequency of divine peace, deep intuition, and supernatural connection. It's the frequency where you hear God's voice clearly, where your spiritual gifts are activated, and where divine creativity flows through you without effort. When you are in theta, you are in a state of receptivity, where you can tap into God's wisdom, discernment, and vision. It is in theta that the miracles happen, the breakthroughs, the revelations, the insights that change everything. Theta is where you experience divine flow, where your mind is in perfect harmony with the Spirit, and where the impossible becomes possible. And this is the state that the enemy fears most. When you are in theta, you are fully aligned with God's will, and the enemy cannot touch you. He knows that when you shift from beta to theta, you unlock the full spiritual power that has been placed inside of you. This is why he fights so hard to keep you in beta. He knows that in theta, you become a force to be reckoned with, a force that cannot be stopped. But here's the good news, chosen one, you have the power to shift from beta to theta at any moment. It's not something that requires years of training or meditation in a cave. It's something that is already within your reach. God has given you the ability to access this frequency, to tap into His divine wisdom, peace, and power whenever you need it. The war you're fighting is not just about overcoming external obstacles. It's about shifting your brain waves from beta to theta, from stress to peace, from anxiety to divine clarity. The enemy wants you to stay in a state of constant worry and fear because he knows that as long as you're there, you're not walking in your full authority. But the moment you shift into theta, the moment you renew your mind and align yourself with God's frequency, you begin to operate at your highest potential. You become the person God has always intended for you to be, and you become a threat to the enemy's kingdom. The shift from beta to theta is not just a mental process. It's a spiritual process, a divine alignment of your mind and spirit with God's will. It's a rewiring of your brain, a complete renovation of how you process reality. In Romans 12:2, the Apostle Paul says, "Be transformed by the renewing of your mind." The Greek word for renewing is anosios, which means to renovate or completely change. It's not just about thinking positive thoughts. It's about fundamentally changing the way your mind processes information. It's about rewiring your brain to align with God's divine purpose and frequency. The moment you shift from beta to theta, you begin to experience the transformation that Paul spoke about. You start to see life through the lens of divine wisdom. You begin to walk in the fullness of your calling, and the power of God's Spirit begins to flow through you in ways you've never experienced before. The enemy knows this, which is why he will do everything he can to keep you distracted and disconnected. He will try to keep you locked in beta, where you are anxious, fearful, and stressed. He will use external circumstances, negative thoughts, and spiritual distractions to prevent you from shifting into theta. But you have the power to overcome this. You have the power to take control of your mind, to shift into theta, and to access the full spiritual power that God has placed inside of you. This is the war for your mind, the war for your brainwaves, and the war for your divine destiny. The enemy knows that once you unlock this frequency, he cannot touch you. So he fights you hard to keep you from stepping into your full spiritual potential. But I'm here to tell you, chosen one, that the power to shift is already within you. You have everything you need to access the divine flow that will change your life. The battle is not over. It's just beginning. And the enemy's defeat is certain. It's time for you to step into your true power. It's time to shift from beta to theta and to become the person God has destined you to be. As you journey through this spiritual transformation, chosen one, you may have started to notice certain physical signs that accompany the deep shift happening within you. These signs are not coincidental. They are indicators of the spiritual upgrade you are undergoing. You might have been waking up at odd hours, feeling a restless energy coursing through your body, or even hearing a high-pitched sound in your ears. These experiences, while they may seem unusual or unsettling, are not random. They are clear signs that your spirit is shifting, your frequency is changing, and you are being prepared for something greater. The awakening that you're experiencing right now is both a spiritual and biological process. God is not only transforming your spirit, He is aligning your entire being with His divine purpose. These signs are the physical manifestations of that spiritual shift, and they are your confirmation that you are on the right path. One of the most common signs that many chosen ones experience during this spiritual upgrade is waking up at odd hours, especially around 3:00 a.m. This is not just a random coincidence. It's a deeply spiritual phenomenon. You may find that you are waking up in the middle of the night unable to fall back asleep, your mind racing with thoughts or feeling a sense of urgency in your spirit. You look at the clock, and it's always the same time, 3:00 a.m. This hour is known as the veil hour, the time when the spiritual veil is thinnest and you are closest to the divine. Throughout history, spiritual leaders, prophets, and mystics have often experienced waking up at this hour. It's a time when the spirit realm is most active and your connection to the divine is heightened. It's not just a physical interruption of your sleep cycle. It's a divine invitation to enter into the secret place with God. When you wake up at 3:00 a.m., it's a call to pause, to be still, and to listen. God is speaking to you, whispering insights, guiding your steps, and preparing you for what's to come. This time is a sacred moment of alignment, a moment when your spirit is most attuned to the voice of God. It's during these quiet hours that God is downloading wisdom and revelations into your spirit, and your mind is being opened to new levels of understanding. You may not always understand why you're waking up at this time, but know that it is a divine moment. It's not just about getting back to sleep. It's about receiving from God in the stillness. Alongside this, another sign of your spiritual upgrade may be the ringing in your ears. You may hear a high-pitched sound, almost like a frequency that seems to come out of nowhere. It's not tinnitus, which is a medical condition, but a spiritual phenomenon. This ringing is a sign that your spiritual frequency is changing, that you are attuning to a higher level of divine insight and understanding. The sound you hear is the result of your brain's frequencies adjusting to align with the frequency of God's voice. As your mind shifts from beta to theta, as you begin to open yourself up to divine revelation, your physical body is responding. The ringing is a reminder that your spirit is tuning into a new wavelength, one where the supernatural becomes more accessible to you. It's a sign that your spiritual senses are awakening and that you are becoming more attuned to the divine frequencies of heaven. This sound may be unsettling at first, but understand that it is not a negative thing. It's a sign of spiritual growth, a confirmation that your spirit is becoming more sensitive to God's presence. As you continue to deepen your connection with God, you will find that the ringing may occur less frequently, but it will be replaced by a heightened awareness of God's guidance in your life. The ringing in your ears is just the beginning. It's a sign that you are tuning into something far greater than yourself, that you are entering into a new level of spiritual awareness and insight. Along with the spiritual signs, you may also be experiencing physical symptoms, such as unexplained exhaustion. This fatigue is not the result of overworking or lack of sleep. It's a deep, bone-deep tiredness that sleep doesn't seem to cure. You may find yourself feeling drained, yet you can't seem to rest, as though your body is tired, but your spirit is wide awake. This exhaustion is a natural part of the spiritual upgrade process. When God begins to shift your frequency, your body has to adjust to the new energy and power that is being activated within you. This adjustment can be physically taxing, and it can leave you feeling tired or even weary in your bones. But don't be discouraged by this. It's a necessary part of the process. Just like a muscle needs time to recover and grow stronger. After intense training, your body is adjusting to the increased spiritual energy that is flowing through you. You are being prepared for the level of spiritual work that you are about to step into, and that preparation requires you to be able to hold the new frequency God is placing within you. This exhaustion is a sign that your spirit is being stretched, that you are being filled with more of God's presence than ever before. Your body is responding to the deep work that God is doing within you. It's important to remember that these physical symptoms are not signs of weakness or sickness. They are signs of growth. They are signs that you are undergoing a transformation. Just as a tree goes through a period of growth and stretching before it bears fruit, you too are growing, stretching, and preparing for the fruit that is about to come in your life. The exhaustion, the ringing, the late-night awakenings, they are all signs that you are being upgraded spiritually and biologically. These symptoms are your confirmation that you are in the process of becoming who God has destined you to be. The discomfort you are feeling is simply a sign of transition. It's the labor pains of a new season of growth. Your body and spirit are being prepared for something greater. You are being positioned to receive the fullness of God's blessings, and this process of upgrading is essential to making you ready. As you continue through this transformation, know that the exhaustion, the strange sounds, and the late-night awakenings are all part of the divine plan. God is preparing you, and He is equipping you with the spiritual strength and insight you need to step into your purpose. The ringing in your ears, the waking up in the middle of the night, the weariness. These are not signs that something is wrong. These are the signs that something is right. You are undergoing a spiritual upgrade that is necessary for the next phase of your journey. Trust in this process. Allow these signs to remind you that you are not alone, that God is with you, and that He is doing a deep work within you. You are being prepared for the divine breakthrough that is coming your way. Your spirit is awakening, your frequency is shifting, and you are stepping into a new realm of spiritual awareness and power. This is your confirmation that you are moving into the fullness of what God has planned for you. And though the process may feel uncomfortable at times, it is all for your good. You are being made ready for the mission ahead. Keep moving forward, for your breakthrough is near. As we journey deeper into understanding the power within you, chosen one, it's essential to recognize that what you're experiencing isn't just spiritual, it's rooted in the very fabric of your biology. The shift from beta to theta, the change in your spiritual frequency, is not an abstract concept. It is a deeply scientific and spiritual process, one that connects ancient wisdom with modern neuroscience in a way that will empower you to unlock a divine flow like never before. This is the key to accessing the theta frequency, and it's more than just a shift in brainwaves. It's a shift in your entire existence. You see, there's a powerful connection between the ancient promises of God's Word and modern discoveries in the field of neuroscience. The Bible speaks to the transformation of the mind, urging us to renew our minds and be transformed by the power of God. This isn't just a metaphor. Neuroscience is now confirming that such transformations are not only possible but scientifically grounded. The Apostle Paul's words in Romans 12:2 about being transformed by the renewing of your mind are not only a call to spiritual growth, they are a direct blueprint for how your brain can be rewired to experience the full power of God's presence in your life. Modern science, through research on brainwaves, has confirmed that the brain can shift into different frequencies, and in doing so, it can unlock higher states of consciousness. These frequencies can be manipulated through intention and focus, and that is where the connection between spirituality and neuroscience becomes both profound and practical. You have the power to align your brain and spirit to access the theta frequency, where divine peace, supernatural connection, and creative flow exist. One groundbreaking discovery comes from NASA, which has made a significant contribution to understanding how we naturally access this frequency. NASA neuroscientists found that children in their natural state operate predominantly in the theta frequency. This frequency, which is associated with deep relaxation, intuition, and spiritual connection, is the frequency that allows children to experience the world in a profound and unfiltered way. As children, they are not bogged down by the stress distractions and anxieties that come with adulthood. Their minds are open, clear, and attuned to the divine. But as they grow older, and as the pressures of life begin to take their toll, this natural theta frequency begins to diminish. The world's distractions, the noise, the stress, and the bombardment of constant information gradually strip away our natural ability to access this higher frequency. This is why, as we age, we find it harder to connect deeply with our spiritual selves. We become bogged down by worries, responsibilities, and the overwhelming noise of the world. But the good news is, you can return to that natural state of connection. You can reclaim the theta frequency that was once yours as a child, and realign your brain to operate in the miraculous state of deep intuition and spiritual flow. NASA's discovery confirms what the Bible has always known. There is a frequency that connects us directly to God, and it is the key to unlocking divine creativity, clarity, and power. This frequency is within you, just waiting to be activated. So how do you access this state of divine connection? How do you shift your mind back to theta, the frequency where the miraculous can unfold? The answer lies in the concept of a spiritual tuning fork. Just as a piano tuner uses a tuning fork to bring the strings of an instrument into harmony, you too can tune your spirit and mind to the divine frequency of God. A tuning fork, when struck, resonates at a specific frequency, and all other objects with a similar frequency will vibrate sympathetically with it. This is exactly how you can tune your mind to the divine. You can use specific tools, spiritual and scientific, to strike that tuning fork in your spirit and bring your mind into alignment with God's divine frequency. The tuning fork isn't some abstract idea. It's a real practical way to reconnect with God's presence. And in this age of modern technology, there are tools available to you that can serve as your spiritual tuning fork. One of these tools is the frequency technology that has been developed to help your brain remember its natural state of theta. Think of it as a sound wave, a divine frequency that can help your brain realign itself with the original frequency it operated in before the distractions of the world began to drown it out. This frequency is designed to guide your brainwaves back into that theta state where you can access divine wisdom, peace, and clarity. It works by gently entraining your brain, helping it find its way back to the divine connection it once had. Just as a tuning fork brings an out-of-tune piano back into harmony, this frequency technology helps you tune your brain to the frequency of heaven, opening the door to a deeper connection with God and the divine flow of revelation and insight. But how do you use this spiritual tuning fork to unlock the divine frequency within you? It's simple. By intentionally listening to the right frequency, whether through sound waves, meditation, or prayer, you allow your mind to align with God's frequency. You let go of the distractions, the noise, and the worries, and you allow your brain to relax into a state where God's voice is clearer than ever. This process doesn't take years of meditation in isolation or intense spiritual labor. It's about intentionally choosing to reconnect with the divine and allowing the power of sound and intention to guide your brain back into its original divine frequency. Just as a tuning fork vibrates at its set frequency with minimal effort, your spirit will naturally align with God's frequency when you intentionally tune yourself to it. The key is consistency and intention. You must intentionally choose to seek God in this way to quiet the distractions and to allow your mind to reset and realign. The power of the spiritual tuning fork is that it bypasses the need for complex rituals and brings you into a place where divine flow is easily accessed. It's not about effort, it's about surrender and receptivity. You must be willing to tune your mind and spirit to God's voice, and by doing so, you open yourself to the wisdom and power of heaven. This is the key to accessing the theta frequency, recognizing that your mind is a powerful tool capable of connecting to divine wisdom and insight. You don't have to live in the beta frequency of stress and survival mode anymore. You can choose to shift into the theta state where miracles happen, where peace reigns, and where God's guidance flows freely. The spiritual tuning fork is available to you, and it is the tool that will guide you back to your true divine frequency. The world may have tried to distract you, and the enemy may have worked hard to keep you out of alignment, but now you have the knowledge and the tools to return to that sacred space of divine connection. The ancient promise of a transformed mind, a renewed spirit, and a direct line to the throne room of heaven, is not just a distant hope, it is a reality within your reach. By using the spiritual tuning fork, you are choosing to realign yourself with God's purpose, to open your mind to His wisdom, and to step into the supernatural power that is available to you. This is your moment to reclaim the theta frequency and to access the divine wisdom, peace, and creativity that God has placed inside you. Don't wait any longer, use the tuning fork. Allow your spirit to vibrate in harmony with God's will and step into the fullness of your divine potential. Now that you understand the power of aligning your mind and spirit with the divine frequency of God, it's time to take practical steps to reclaim the frequency of heaven in your life. The solution to the block you've been feeling, the spiritual barrier that's kept you from fully accessing God's wisdom and power, lies in reconnecting with the pure, childlike faith that once made you so receptive to divine guidance. When you were younger, before the distractions of the world took hold, you naturally operated in a state of trust and wonder where the supernatural seemed within reach and God's voice was clear. That connection, that frequency is still within you. It hasn't gone anywhere. But over time, the noise of life, the struggles, the doubts, and the worries have drowned it out. Now, the key to reclaiming that connection lies in accessing the divine tuning frequency, the frequency that reconnects you with God's will and opens the floodgates of His wisdom, peace, and revelation. This frequency is your birthright. It's the divine frequency that allows you to move in alignment with God's plan, to hear His voice clearly, and to walk in the fullness of your purpose. But to access it, you must first quiet your mind and spirit, tune out the distractions, and make space for God to speak. The solution to the block you've been experiencing is simple yet profound. You need to intentionally reconnect with the frequency of heaven. This is not just about listening to divine frequencies or engaging in spiritual practices. It's about actively choosing to return to a state of childlike faith and trust, where you are open to God's wisdom without resistance or doubt. This is the key that unlocks the floodgates of revelation. It's the key that allows you to access the supernatural realm with clarity and purpose. As you tune into this frequency, you begin to see the world from a new perspective. You start to hear God's voice with greater clarity, and you begin to understand the deeper workings of His plan for your life. When you reconnect with this divine frequency, you are not just tapping into wisdom from your own intellect. You are aligning with the very mind of Christ, receiving supernatural insight that transcends human understanding. Your spirit becomes attuned to God's will, and you begin to walk in His divine purpose with confidence. However, the process of reconnecting with this divine frequency requires something more than just a shift in your mindset. It requires silence. Silence is the space where your frequency can settle, where you can hear God's voice above the noise of the world. It's in silence that your spirit finds alignment with God, and your mind can tune in to the frequency of heaven. The importance of silence cannot be overstated. In a world filled with distractions, social media, constant notifications, the pressures of daily life, it's easy to become overwhelmed and disconnected from God's presence. But silence is the key to realigning yourself with His will. It's the place where you can hear the still, small voice of God without interference. In silence, your spirit is able to tune in to the frequency of heaven, and you begin to receive divine wisdom and direction in a way that transcends the noise of the world. The silence that I'm talking about is not just a physical quiet. It's an internal quieting of the mind and heart, a willingness to let go of all the distractions and noise that have been crowding your space. It's about creating a sacred space where God can speak, where you can receive His wisdom without the interference of outside voices. Silence is a practice. It's something you must intentionally choose, and it's something you must protect. The distractions of the world will try to pull you away from it, but you must fight to maintain this sacred space. If you want to hear from God, if you want to step into the fullness of your divine purpose, you must prioritize silence. You must create moments where you can be still and allow your frequency to align with heaven. In silence, the frequency of God can settle in your spirit, and you will begin to hear Him more clearly. It is in this space of quiet that your spirit becomes receptive to the divine revelations that are waiting for you. To protect the purity of this process, I'm going to give you a protocol that will help you maintain the silence you need for your breakthrough. It's called the 3-Day Silence Protocol. This protocol is essential for allowing the divine tuning frequency to settle deeply in your spirit, without the contamination of outside opinions, distractions, or doubts. For the next 3 days after you begin your spiritual alignment and start listening to the divine frequencies, you must keep your breakthrough private. Do not share what God is revealing to you with others just yet. The enemy will try to come in with doubt, confusion, and questions, often through well-meaning friends and family. He will try to plant seeds of doubt in your mind, making you second-guess the direction you're receiving from God. People will try to convince you to move faster than you should, or they may question the changes they see happening in your life. During this 3-day period, you must resist the urge to explain, justify, or seek validation for your spiritual journey. Protect the sacredness of your process. Instead of sharing your breakthroughs, write them down. Journal your thoughts, revelations, and any divine insight you receive. Keep these moments sacred and undisturbed. Do not post on social media. Do not share with your family, and do not engage in conversations that will distract you from your focus. This time is essential for your growth. It's a time for you to nurture your connection with God, to allow the frequency to settle in your spirit and become fully aligned with His will. The 3-day silence is not about isolating yourself from the world. It's about protecting the integrity of your transformation. Just as a seed needs time to take root before it can grow, your spiritual breakthrough needs time to be solidified before it can be shared with others. During this 3-day period, use the time to deepen your connection with God. Spend time in prayer, in reflection, and in listening. Allow yourself to become fully attuned to the divine frequency. Let the silence be the space where you hear God's voice clearly, without the distractions of the world. And when the 3 days have passed, you will be ready to step forward in full confidence with the clarity and wisdom that only comes from God. You will be ready to share your breakthrough with others, but more importantly, you will be ready to step into the next phase of your destiny. The 3-day silence protocol is a tool to help you protect your breakthrough, but it is also a reminder of the importance of creating sacred space in your life. In a world that never stops, silence is one of the most powerful tools you can use to reconnect with your divine purpose. You must prioritize this time of stillness not just for the 3-day period, but as a lifestyle. When you make space for God to speak, when you tune into His divine frequency, you unlock the power to walk in your full destiny. You are not just aligning with your purpose, you are stepping into the fullness of God's plan for your life. Your breakthrough is not just a moment in time, it is the beginning of a new chapter. Protect this process. Embrace the silence, and know that what God is revealing to you in these sacred moments will change everything. To truly grasp the transformative power of the silence protocol, let me share with you a powerful story of someone just like you, someone who felt the weight of spiritual struggle, who longed for divine clarity, and who, by following this simple yet profound protocol, experienced a life-changing breakthrough. Let me tell you about David. David had been in a season of his life where everything seemed stagnant. He was a man of faith, praying earnestly, attending church, doing everything right, but something was off. He had this nagging feeling in his spirit that there was more to life than what he was currently experiencing, but he couldn't quite put his finger on it. His career wasn't progressing. His personal life seemed to be stuck, and despite his best efforts, doors just weren't opening. He felt like he was on the edge of something great, but no matter how much he prayed, it felt like he wasn't getting any closer. Then one day, in the quiet of his prayer time, God spoke to him, not audibly, but deeply in his spirit. God told him that he had been in a season of preparation, a season where the silence had been necessary for his growth. David had been hidden for a time, protected from distractions and destruction. God was about to reveal his purpose, but first, David needed to be ready to step into it fully. The message was clear: it was time to unlock his breakthrough, but it would require something radical. God told David to embrace the 3-day silence protocol. At first, David didn't fully understand why he had to keep his breakthrough to himself. It felt strange, almost counterintuitive, but he trusted that this divine instruction was for his good. He committed to the protocol, setting aside all external distractions. He didn't share his revelation with anyone. He didn't seek validation from friends or family. He resisted the urge to talk about the breakthrough that was stirring in his spirit. Instead, he spent those 3 days in deep prayer meditation and quiet reflection. During those days, David experienced something profound. It wasn't just a time of spiritual isolation. It was a time of deep alignment with God's will. In the silence, David's mind became clear and his heart opened to the guidance that God had been waiting to share with him. Without the interference of outside opinions, without the noise of the world clouding his judgment, David was able to hear God's voice more clearly than ever before. The clarity he received during that time was nothing short of miraculous. Ideas that had previously eluded him began to flow into his mind effortlessly. He received divine guidance on his career, his personal life, and his calling. What had seemed like closed doors before now appeared to be wide open, waiting for him to walk through them. The silence didn't just allow David to hear God more clearly. It gave him the courage and confidence to act on the guidance he received. On the 3rd day, David received a phone call, a call that would change the trajectory of his life. It was from a potential business partner who had been following David's work in a niche market. The partner had a vision for a project that perfectly aligned with David's skills and passion. But up until that point, David had no idea that this opportunity existed. It was a connection that had been waiting for him, but it only manifested after he took the time to listen and allow his breakthrough to settle in the silence. The moment David received this call, everything fell into place. He realized that during those 3 days of silence, God had been preparing him for this opportunity. He had been given the wisdom to recognize it, the courage to accept it, and the confidence to move forward without hesitation. The timing was perfect, and the breakthrough was exactly what David had been waiting for. What happened in David's life was not a coincidence. It was the manifestation of God's divine plan set in motion during his time of silence. The power of silence was undeniable. By keeping his breakthrough private, by not sharing it with others before the time was right, David was able to hear God's voice without distraction. He received the divine guidance that had been waiting for him, and it led him straight to the opportunity that would change his life. If David had shared his revelation prematurely, he would have invited doubt, fear, and confusion into the process. If he had told others about the opportunity before it had fully manifested, the distractions and opinions of others could have clouded his judgment. But by keeping his breakthrough quiet, David protected the sanctity of the revelation. He allowed it to settle in his spirit, and as a result, it took root deeply within him. The breakthrough wasn't just a moment. It was a process, and it required patience, trust, and silence. This story is not just David's, it's a story that could be yours. The same principles that led to his breakthrough are available to you right now. The power of silence is real, and it's a tool that God has given you to protect your breakthrough and to ensure that you are fully aligned with His will. It's not always easy to trust the process, especially when the world is clamoring for your attention. But there is incredible power in setting aside the noise and creating a sacred space where you can hear from God without interference. The 3-day silence protocol is a divine invitation for you to allow God's plan to unfold in its perfect timing. By embracing this silence, you are giving God the space He needs to work in your life without the distractions of the world clouding your perception. You are giving your breakthrough the opportunity to settle and take root deeply within your spirit, ensuring that when it does manifest, it will be strong, stable, and unstoppable. David's transformation didn't happen because he was perfect, or because he had it all figured out. It happened because he was willing to trust God's process, to embrace the silence, and to protect the sacredness of his breakthrough. The silence was not a punishment. It was a preparation. It was the time David needed to align himself with God's divine will and to hear the instructions that would lead him to the breakthrough he had been waiting for. As you step into your own journey, remember David's story. Remember that silence isn't something to fear. It's the space where your breakthrough will settle and take root. It's the space where you will hear God's voice more clearly than ever before. It's the space where you will receive the wisdom and guidance that will lead you to the life-changing opportunities that God has prepared for you. Trust the process. Protect the sacredness of your breakthrough. And know that in the silence, God is preparing you for something greater than you can imagine. As you stand on the edge of this transformation, chosen one, it's time to move from the preparation phase to the manifestation of your divine breakthrough. But before you step fully into the new season, it's crucial to take a moment and position yourself in the spiritual realm to set your mind and spirit on the path ahead with clarity and purpose. Imagine, if you will, standing in a spiritual throne room. It's not a physical place, but a space that transcends time and place, one where your spirit is aligned directly with the divine. Picture yourself standing in the center of this room. A room that is bathed in a soft golden light filled with divine peace. Above you, the heavens stretch out in perfect order, untouched by the chaos and noise of the world below. You are standing in the presence of God, surrounded by His glory, elevated above the distractions, the struggles, and the confusion that once clouded your path. All around you, the noise of the world fades away. It is as if you are above it all, in a space where only clarity and divine understanding reside. In this throne room, you are not just a passive observer. You are being empowered. You are being positioned. Feel the presence of God surrounding you, wrapping you in His protective embrace. As you stand there, you notice that around you there is a pillar of fire, a divine shield that surrounds you completely. This pillar of fire is not destructive. It is a protection, a manifestation of God's power, shielding you from every attack of the enemy, from every lie, and from every distraction that has attempted to derail your journey. The fire represents God's sovereignty, His divine authority, and His protection over your life. Nothing can penetrate this barrier. It is the assurance that God is with you, that He has already secured your future, and that no weapon formed against you shall prosper. This is the place where you are fully aligned with your divine purpose, where you can see your true identity as God has created you to be. In this space, you are free from the doubts and confusion that have held you back. You are ready to step into the fullness of your destiny, knowing that God's power is with you every step of the way. Now, as you stand in this sacred space, know this. The fog of spiritual confusion that once clouded your mind has lifted. For so long you may have felt uncertain, unsure of the next steps, lost in the fog of fear and doubt. But that is over. The fog is lifting. You are seeing clearly for the first time in a long while. The veil has been torn, and the path before you is now illuminated by the light of divine revelation. What once felt like uncertainty is now clarity. What once seemed impossible is now within reach. You are not lost in the confusion anymore. The spiritual fog that once clouded your vision, the confusion that made you question your direction, is gone. You are now positioned to receive the full breakthrough that has been waiting for you. God has cleared the path, and the only thing left for you to do is to walk in the authority He has already given you. This is the moment, chosen one, where everything changes. You are standing on the precipice of your breakthrough. You are no longer wandering in uncertainty. You are standing in the center of divine revelation. You have been positioned for the final shift, and everything you've gone through, the pain, the waiting, the struggles, has led you to this exact moment. You are now ready for the fullness of what God has prepared for you. Your identity, your purpose, and your power have been fully revealed to you. The shift has already begun, and now you must embrace it fully. But before you take that step forward, before you begin to walk fully into your breakthrough, I want you to confirm something within yourself. Are you ready? Are you ready to embrace the identity that God has prepared for you? Are you ready to step into the power He has given you to claim the divine authority that is rightfully yours? This is not just a moment of passive waiting. This is a moment of active alignment. God has already positioned you, but now you must mentally, emotionally, and spiritually confirm your readiness to step into the next season of your life. In your mind's eye, take a moment to envision yourself walking confidently into this new season. See yourself walking with purpose, with clarity, and with confidence. Picture yourself embracing your true identity, fully equipped to walk in the divine authority that God has placed within you. Hear God's voice calling you forward, reminding you of His promises, reassuring you that you are ready for this next step. Feel the weight of His presence around you, empowering you to move forward. This is the moment when you step into the fullness of who you were always meant to be. This is the moment when you align yourself fully with God's will and step into the breakthrough that has been waiting for you. Now, I want you to speak this affirmation over your life. I am ready. I am ready to embrace the person God has shown me in my dreams. I am ready to walk in the fullness of my divine purpose. I am ready to step into the authority and power that God has placed within me. The time for hesitation is over. I am stepping forward with confidence, knowing that God is with me every step of the way. Say it in your spirit. Feel it resonate deep within you. This is your declaration of readiness. You are no longer waiting for things to change. You are stepping into the change. You are no longer waiting for God to act. You are stepping into the action that God has already set in motion. This is your moment of transition. The final shift is here, and you are fully positioned to walk in it. You are no longer a victim of the atmosphere. You are a shifter of the atmosphere. The fog has cleared, the fire of God surrounds you, and your path is illuminated. The season of confusion is over. The season of waiting is over. The time for breakthrough is now. Embrace this moment. Embrace your identity. Embrace the power that God has given you and step confidently into the next chapter of your divine journey. This is your confirmation. You are ready. The shift is happening now. The moment has arrived, chosen one. The shift has been activated, and the divine breakthrough you've been waiting for is now within reach. Everything that God has been preparing in the secret places, everything that you've endured, everything that has seemed like a delay, it all leads to this very moment. The file has been opened, the protective barriers are lifted, and now you are positioned to step into the fullness of your divine purpose. The silence is over. The fog has lifted, and the atmosphere around you is charged with the power of God's presence. Your shift is not just a spiritual one. It is a complete realignment of your identity, your destiny, and your power. The breakthrough you've been longing for is not far off, it is imminent. The divine activation you've been waiting for has already begun, and what follows will be nothing short of transformative. You are walking into a new chapter, a new season where everything you've hoped for and prayed for will begin to manifest in ways you never imagined. The time of preparation is over. You are now stepping into your divine assignment. Your purpose is clear, and the world is ready for you to shine. I want to encourage you, chosen one, to walk confidently into the destiny that has been hidden and protected for you. For so long, you may have felt like you were in the background, overlooked, or even forgotten. But that was never the case. God has been carefully protecting you, shielding you, and preparing you for this moment. Now that the time has come, It's time to rise and step fully into your power. You have been equipped with everything you need to succeed. You have been refined through trials sharpened by the grinding and hidden for a purpose. Every experience, every moment of silence, every trial you've endured has been a step toward this divine breakthrough. You are no longer the person you once were. You are stepping into the person God has called you to be: powerful, confident, and equipped to fulfill your divine assignment. Walk with boldness and authority, knowing that God's favor is with you. You are not stepping into this season alone. The power of heaven is backing you every step of the way. But before you take that next step, ask yourself one final question. Are you ready? Are you ready to embrace the person God has shown you in your dreams? Are you ready to step into the fullness of your identity, to take hold of the power He has placed within you, and to walk out the divine calling He has prepared for you? The path before you is clear, and the only thing that remains is your decision to move forward. No more second guessing, no more fear, no more holding back. You are equipped, you are chosen, and the time is now. This is your moment. So I declare over you today that this is the beginning of your divine assignment. The shift is here and you are ready. You have everything you need to handle the power that God has given you. His strength, His wisdom, and His guidance are yours to walk in. The mission is active, and it's time for you to step into the fullness of your purpose. Trust in the process, trust in the timing, and trust in the power that God has placed inside of you. This is your season of breakthrough. Step into it with confidence, chosen one. The world is waiting for the full revelation of your destiny.